Hi there, Glocal citizens. Welcome back to the podcast that inspires a borderless mindset around manifesting a new world. I am your host, Florence Adu, coming to you from a town called Nanyuki, which is at the foot of Mount Kenya. And I am in Kenya, folks. I've been talking about Kenya, coming, doing, being, seeing, and I am extremely happy to be here. I've been here for a few weeks. It's so awesome because before we started this conversation, I was talking to my guest about tech, because he is in tech, and the hotspots for what tech is doing in Africa, around the globe, particularly for those in the diaspora. And so I'm excited to have that conversation with him because last week here in Kenya was the Africa Tech Summit. We'll talk a little bit about the themes that are hot topic here in Africa. But I just want to say, if you haven't been to Kenya, it's a place to visit. If you haven't been to the continent in general, come. But there are a few places that we know are the soft landings. One is Ghana, which is my usual, and another is Kenya, Nairobi in particular. So let's get into the conversation. My guest is a social entrepreneur and ecosystem builder. He has over 15 years of experience working in international development and entrepreneurship with the World Bank, the Inter-American Development Bank, at MIT, and with grassroots organizations focused on youth empowerment and entrepreneurship. He is passionate about leveraging the power of entrepreneurship, technology, and communication to reshape socioeconomic dynamics. He is the founder of Banj, Haiti's largest co-working space and entrepreneurship hub, connecting various communities to promote innovation in Haiti and the Caribbean while supporting change makers globally. He extends this work in service on the board of the Haitian Education and Leadership Program, HELP, supporting access to higher education in Haiti. He is a Fulbright scholar, a social media influencer, and a fellow podcaster. Marc Alain Boucicault, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Florence. It's so beautiful to see you talking about Kenya and how proud you are. And of course, talking about technology. So I'm super excited to have this conversation with you today. And thank you for welcoming me to your audience. I'm extremely happy to be with you today.
Okay, so let's get started. Where are you from? Where are you local? And what is your craft?
So I'm Haitian. I was born in Haiti. I grew up in Haiti. Went to school in Haiti until college. And then since then, I went to global development. So worked for the ITP, the World Bank. So I moved a little bit around the world. Currently, I am in Washington, D.C. And really my crowd, my people, are anyone who affectionates the Caribbean, who loves Haiti, who's passionate about tech. And truly, for me, technology is I'm not a geek or techie. I'm an economist by background. But the beauty of technology is how it's actually reshaping the world. It's changing power dynamics. It's changing how we mobilize people. It's changing how we create wealth. It changes the types of job we're doing. So for me, if anyone wants to see a country transform, there's no way you're leaving technology out of it. So anyone who's excited about the type of transformation technology can make, power dynamics, people, and truly empowering people to be their fullest self, these are
Nice. So I think you kind of hinted at it, but what exactly would you say is your craft? The thing that you feel most creatively and technically proficient at applying yourself to?
What makes me who I am is the ability to connect the dots. That capacity to see beyond the surface and try to figure out how to align interest, get people together, create movements, build communities. And I've honestly been doing that since I was in college. Started clubs in my school. I've been first in a lot of different things, whether it's communities where I interned in Haiti, and building a whole youth grassroots movement. This is kind of where I came from. So the idea of putting people together, finding the secret sauce and finding what gets people excited and bringing them together has always been something that's in my DNA, I would say. I was born doing that, and I've been doing it for the past 20 years.
Okay. I can tell. I think that's definitely an outgrowth of you as an entrepreneur. And so let's go back. Let's go back to, you mentioned, starting with grassroots in school and as a youth leader. Tell us about your Haiti, because you said you're from Haiti, but tell us, the narrative on Haiti is so out there, right? You have so many different levels, so many different negativities. As a Black person, I get so many positivities. But given what we've recently been hearing, and I'm hearing Kenya, and last couple of years, it was Kenyan troops that were helping out Haiti. That was one of the narratives that was going on. But let's talk about your Haiti, your local in Haiti, and how the narrative is different than what we might think that it is.
Thank you for that question. It really allows me to reflect on how much also Haiti has changed from my childhood to today. I feel like it's a country that has been constantly impoverished. Economic data shows the trajectory, so I don't even need to go back there. That's what's in the news everywhere. But I think what's not in the news when you say my Haiti is a country of people that are extremely welcoming, amazing, a vibrant culture. I grew up in a country definitely that was much more stable than what we see today. But it's really a country where we were so happy and proud to be Haitian. It's a country where, however, the economic level of anybody, everybody's just so clean. Everybody just likes to look good. I'm remembering the Haiti of, the young girls going to schools in the morning with bows in their hairs. That's the Haiti I know. And I'm very proud that also my childhood was marked by a balance because my mom and my dad kind of had a difference between how they see the world in a way. My mom was more progress, United States, and my dad was more local, stay in great socialism. And I grew up in a mix that also defined who I am, where I had the early age, the opportunity to travel to the US. So my family would balance my summer vacations between going to Florida and to the countryside of Haiti to my grandmother's house. So I grew up in that Haiti where I was swimming in the river that summer and swimming in a pool the next. Quite a balance of seeing Haiti in and out. And I was very lucky. Travel all 10 departments of Haiti as well because I have my work as a statistician, student study. I got to run surveys across the country. So I've seen a lot of Haiti, and that for me gave me an identity that is actually super plural. Is in I see many faces of this country, and it also I see the poverty. I see the beauty of the people, and most importantly, I can tell you that Haiti is more than Port-au-Prince. A lot of the news that you hear happening, it's really what's happening in the capital. But there's most of the population that's living outside of Port-au-Prince that are living, in very open spaces, green areas where they live culture, the beauty of the countryside, the calm, the peace, and the welcoming nature of the people who are not infected by the urban issues of the country. So I've seen so many parts of Haiti, and I'm so proud to be Haitian for all of those reasons.
Nice, nice. I love it. I love it. And I'm so happy you said that because I think that one of the ills of technology is that it really is driving people to desire these urban settings because they feel like that is progress, as opposed to solving with that same technology for where they are. And so with that in mind, I want to ask you about how you determined that your mission would be to support this ecosystem of tech builders, for whatever purpose, but finding yourself landing there to solve for problems that you obviously see as being necessary in Haiti.
I love that you asked this question because I was reflecting on what you were saying about Kenya and the fact that other countries are kind of like shaping how other countries see themselves and kind of like creating movements that are not necessarily grassroots or coming from the core, if I would say. It made me reflect back on also why am I in tech, right?
Right.
And for me, I'm not a techie. I understand the power of tech, but what truly drove me into building communities and using technology to do so is just a very simple fact that, it's just so unfair that a country of more than 10 million people can still be a poor country not creating opportunities for its people. So as an economist, I always look back and say, like, why are we poor? Right? We have natural resources. We share a frontier. We share borders with the Dominican Republic. And then that's like, it's literally the poorest country in the region sharing a border with the richest country in the region, which is the Dominican Republic. Why? It's the same land, it's the same atmosphere, it's the same environment. And for me, it sends me into rethinking how we are organized as a nation, how we create. And Haiti, you just look at, the GDP, right? Which is what everybody's looking at. And you see that, the people are not the one driving growth when there's like human capacity. It's just like, import, export,
Exactly.
services, commerce. These are like known as like, the least productive sectors in an economy if you're not producing.
Yes.
All these things have been boshing my mind. And I look at the technology now in the world where some of the biggest companies in the world are in tech. And it always pushes me into, can technology just reshape the narrative? So it's not really a trend that was coming from outside. It's really looking at the country and saying, what are the new ways of doing this? We can't be doing the same old for the past 50 years. And Haiti's economic growth has been downwards for almost 10 years. So how do you create a new narrative? How do you create a new modus operandi like this used to be? Cool. So for me, being in tech is all about finding that new path and also creating the opportunity for people to truly achieve their true potential.
Sure.
Like if you're born in today, outside of an urban setting, what are your odds and what are your chances to just live a fulfilled life where you can be happy and live your best self? And for me, technology is a way for people to be empowered, to be at the level where they can fulfill themselves using either technology to educate themselves or to create a space where they can operate in to find a job or to create solutions to problems. So for me, it's all about solving problems. I'm very far away from the Western way of looking at tech, as in, let's just invent this game and everybody's doing clickbaits and then like it just it's all bubbles. I mean, I know they create growth and I know the world has been running on opportunities based on that as well in the Western world. But for me, being in tech is deeply rooted into how are we solving the basic issues that are not allowing human beings to live their best selves, having access to education, health, living comfortably in a country that they can call theirs and be proud of it. So for me, being in tech is all about creating that space and finding the right tools to get there.
Yeah, I love it. So that leads me to a question of your local. So why the where? How did you come to be living and working where you currently are local in Washington, D.C.?
It's funny. It's a long story. I was born and raised in Haiti. I never thought I would be living in the U.S. ever. I built my business there. I went to school there. My first time moving to the U.S. was for my Fulbright scholarship.
Okay.
You mentioned that in the intro. That was actually my first time leaving outside of Haiti.
Wow. Okay.
But I was an international development, so I was traveling. I would go to many places.
Sure.
But leaving outside of Haiti, that was the first time. And then actually after my Fulbright, I went back home, lived there again. It was actually getting married. Now wife in DC. She's Haitian, very rooted back home as well. Love her country, so I think we always bonded over Haiti. But she was, she was a global traveler because she lived across Africa with her mom, and she was also living in DC. But after Fulbright, I went back home, so we actually dated long distance.
Oh wow! Okay.
But when we had to get married,
yes,
we had to choose where are we going to create a home. And it was actually always about creating a home in Haiti. Unfortunately, a year of like a few months before we actually got married, that's when they killed the president of Haiti. Then everybody,
right? Wow.
Well, maybe that's not going to be the ideal place for the next couple of years. And we decided we would explore. So actually, even settling here is not exactly like a decision that's like confirmed. I went back to school. So I went to Harvard 2022. And since then, I've been back and forth between Haiti and the US and Haiti and the US. So we have a home here and we're also back home. I go to Haiti every 2 to 3 months and I spend 2 weeks there. And I go there multiple times a year. So I'm not outside of Haiti and I'm pretty much involved back home and still doing with my company.
Yeah, which is the work of being a global entrepreneur. I fully understand it. And
being here gives you access to so much more.
Yeah.
So for me, here is more like, I love to say that like America is my shelter, but Haiti.
Okay.
So This is where you're getting all the resources, all the people, meeting people, going out there, networking, all the programs, meeting investors, entrepreneurs. And for me, it's always about, okay, do you want to go to Haiti? How do we bring all of that to Haiti? So that's where we have truly building her.
Yeah. I like that. We have in common that we both study policy. And as an economist, that makes perfect sense. My policy degree focused on urban policy and economics. And so because as I think about ecosystems that I'm creating, I am trying to steer away from policy as we know it. Right. And mostly because the governments that we're dealing with that are typically the home of policy are in failure mode or collapse mode. They're not effectively able to implement, to draft, to create consensus around policy. And so when you think about that policy background, how do you reimagine it or reapply it, or even just use it as we understand it in your work with Banj?
I was reading this quote the other day that says that, if you don't get engaged in politics, then you're letting other people lead you. And very often they are very far away from what your vision is. Allowing them to stay in power is just allowing yourself to not fulfill your own goals. So this is something I had been meditating a lot about. And when I went for my second degree, it was all about finding that questions. At some point, it was more like tech and policy. True answer to that question is you cannot stay away from it. And that, I'm telling you,
You're right. You're right. Okay, continue.
I've been doing public service because, So basically at Harvard, we kind of like moved away from the term policy in our conversation, not in the school.
Sure.
From to public service.
Yes.
So basically, when you put it under public service, I mean, you can be away from politics, but still serving the people. So it's still public service. So creating nonprofits and being involved, kind of like solving things your way. But the truth is, there's always going to be a missing link. And one of the classes I took at MIT, because, when you're Harvard, you can cross-register with them. Was about building ecosystems. And I realized there's a whole science behind. That's actually why I could confirm who I am as a ecosystem. Kind of took a class that helped me define what that was. And in that class, we have something that we call the 5 stakeholder model, which involves the private sector, the venture capital, the universities, so the higher education, incubators like those that I created back home, and they are of the 5th element of the star, that if you want to create an environment where entrepreneurs can thrive, you have to involve the government. So there's no way you're going to say, oh, I'm going to do everything but getting involved. So it doesn't work like that. So basically, the way my approach to it, right now, I'm not a politician, I'm not running for office, but my approach to it is make sure that I don't leave them out.
Okay.
Make sure I cover them. Yeah. So everything we do, either they're speakers, we created a project back home that we're piloting. We've been piloting for a year, basically rebuilding Haiti's ecosystem. So basically recreating the infrastructure of how people connect, how we elect incentives, how do we create the right environment for entrepreneurs to strive. Again, inspired by a lot of the things that I learned from my course at MIT. We're going after them. We're inviting the central bank, we're inviting the Ministry of Finance, and hopefully between you and I, and of course for everyone who's going to be listening to the podcast, it's hopefully in the future, find better leaders to occupy those positions. Because the whole purpose of the thing is to really shape a space where the right people are in the right place to do the right thing for people to be empowered and to really fulfill themselves. So I'm very open to that, not personally as a person, but as a creator of space where let's allow the people who can run to run and let's allow everyone who's there to be involved. So I'm completely open, and everything we do is reaching out to all branches. And it's not just government, it's also the universities, right? When you talk about the ecosystem, what kind of education are we giving and what kind of jobs are we creating? And even the private sector, right? When you come from the Caribbean, the private sector has a mentality that's very different from a lot of places in the world. And I'm sure in Kenya, you have your own way of looking at it. But you need to get them involved. Like, we have to get the private sector at the table. We have to get the universities. We have to get the government and access to capital. We have to rethink about how we're creating those spaces. So everyone needs to be involved when it comes to building ecosystem.
Yeah. I mean, that's the definition of an ecosystem. So you've said it.
You can't do it if you're saying, I'm not in politics, I'm just going to
Yeah.
be.
Right. Right.
You have to bring them in,
Yeah.
and you also have to empower those who could do better.
Yes.
And that's in any case. If you can get better universities, you should invest in however way you can. If you can create new models of access to capital, then you should do it. If you can find champions in the private sector that's going to lead for a new culture, you have to create the space for everyone to be better. Because at the end of the day, you're doing this because you want entrepreneurs to strive.
Yes, that's a great segue into Bunch. So, okay, this is your brainchild. This has been a culmination of your life's work, putting this together. So, applying that course, your studies, take us on the story of Bunch. Tell us what it was like from the facility to the recruitment to the programming. Tell us that story.
Thank you for allowing me to share that. This year is going to be our 9th year since we exist. We tend to think about our journey in point O's, like in tech, right? 1.0 to 3.0. We are at what we call 4.0 today. And I'm going to walk you. We were able to do that because the Inter-American Development Bank, an organization I spent 8 years of my life working for and left to become an entrepreneur, decided to come back and study what I did after I leave. And it was beautiful. There's a beautiful case
Nice.
where their team kind of came in. It was beautiful because now I have super close relationship with the bank, and everyone that I left there 9 years ago are just becoming so senior, and we have a great relationship. It's almost like, man, maybe I could have become a division senior consultant specialist. But hey, they're friends. But I'm here. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm building. And it was beautiful because they studied us. And the study, which I'm encouraging your audience to go read, it's really about how do you build from small to big, right? How do you start small but have a great vision and build a company that can be successful? I still think that there's a lot more that needs to be done to be called a success. But again, I guess it's the my mind versus what other people see. So Bosch started really out of this 2 careers of my life that conflicting each other. On one side, I was a professional working in international development. On the other side, I was this community grassroots leader who started a youth organization with friends and decided to work on empowering young people around the country. And for me, I love doing this, but I also love my job, but I would love to be able to do more of this. So the whole idea of creating a company, I don't come from a family of entrepreneurs. My dad, who passed away before I even started Bosch, was a owner of a school, and my mom, public servant all her life, 20 years in some Ministry of Education. And here I am, conflicted between 2 careers, wanting to start something that would allow me to do what I really want to do, but in a sustainable way. And I'll give that credit back to Harvard because I went to a conference. That was the first time I heard the word social entrepreneurship, 2015. And it's so funny because coming back later, I became the co-chair of that conference when I got into Harvard myself 10 years later. That conference opened my mind around the concept of social entrepreneurship, which means you can create something that is a business, but that has a full sole purpose of creating the impact that you want. So the whole idea of creating Bunch came from the idea of starting a business to have the impact that I want so I can actually leave off what I wanted to do. And what I always wanted to do was empowering young people, bringing people together, etc. So Bunch was inspired by the idea of having that impact, but also seeing WeWork, all these companies emerging in the US on the co-working space, business, creating spaces, and kind of like we call ourselves like a WeWork with a soul, basically kind of like that kind of model. But when we started, we didn't have a space, we didn't have anything. So I was just moving back to Haiti after my Fulbright with a job at the IDB and trying to start something. And we did something completely crazy. I was already popular on social media because of my work with young people and grassroots work. So I use and I leverage technology to kind of like put out there the idea. We're in 2017 by then, like inviting people to kind of like come and contribute to something. So reaching out to past sponsors of our events and tell them we're creating a company who wants to be on. So we started a community that was Bosch running events. business and making money off of that. Until one day we partnered with a bank that had massive space in Port-au-Prince. They became our partners. In 2018, we moved to Bosch 2.0, which was the first time we put the place together. Around the place, we were able to now start a business model like we work, right? Renting the space out to entrepreneurs. We partner with 10 different organizations and companies to provide free internet, free tech, because we crowdsources the whole thing. I'm very we started with $0 out of my pocket, but really fundraising with all those organizations, free internet, free printing, free food, free drinks. Like, we just started this, and then I did business. But from there, Bunch 3.0 became that agency that started running our space and running programs nationwide to running programs in the Caribbean, partnering with again and partnering with different other partners that we started running programs. So we became so good at running programs, social media. We started a media company called Bunch Media in the space. Leverage influencers, creating big space and running programs with entrepreneurs. An incubator. We started our incubator with Google. We brought Google to Haiti. We brought Meta to Haiti to start a developer community. So we started creating all these communities, some of them in Haiti, some of them also in the rest of the Caribbean, because we helped Meta scale to Barbados, scale to Jamaica and Guyana. All these capacities that we built over time brought us where we are today, which is Bunch 1.0, where we're really seeing ourselves as an innovation agency helping build ecosystem. So we are just about ourselves and our programs. We are really involved in how do we reshape the relationships and the incentive structure. We call it the incentive infrastructure.
Okay. Yeah. I like that.
Where we put minds together and kind of like create the right space for entrepreneurs. This is where we are now. So we're trying to work with governments, work with private sector, work with universities, however branch of the ecosystem that wants to start programs that creates more integration. This is what innovation agency is. And we started our foundation in the US that helped bring additional resources towards that work. Because for us to solve the issues of Haiti, it's not going to take one or two projects. It's going to need a lot of investment in market failures. So I'm an economist. I tend to
yes.
So that's why we started the foundation, to kind of like push for more
experimentation.
More of ways to shop.
Yeah.
So that's what we are today, from just a career as a professional to starting a community to building a business, and then now building an agency to join that. So that's the journey. I wouldn't say the long story short, because it's still a short version, but I know it's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, and I can see where next becomes a VC. And so I bet my next question was about the capital. So how are you cracking this capital nut for these entrepreneurs? Because you're incubating. And then the question is always, particularly with our diaspora companies, is how are we scaling? And that's where the capital question becomes the biggest question. I mean, it's sometimes easier with technology as, part of that infrastructure, but tell us about that.
No, it's actually a really difficult question that we're still working on and trying to solve. In terms of our lifetime, we've only done grant funding, so pre-seed. We've distributed more than $500,000 in pre-seeds that's data from the case study. The case study was done over when we were hitting our 6th anniversary. So yes, so that's how much money we put out there in what we call our innovation fund. Haiti, for me, the issue of capital in Haiti is a two-way street. On one side, the infrastructure for access to capital is still primitive. So it basically revolves around banks, cooperative. So that's pretty much where the money comes from. And of course, a lot of angel investment happening, but in a non-formal way. So that's pretty much the infrastructure that you have there. At the same time, there's also an issue of pipeline. And I tell my friends all the time, people, Mark, I want to put money. I know you're doing all this stuff. Do you want to come lose money here? Do you want to? Are you willing to lose money over this? what's the pipeline that's out there? I still think as well, and that's why the problem of the ecosystem becomes real, because a lot of entrepreneurs don't have the bandwidth to try long enough. Like Amazon was losing money, for the most part until it became profitable, right? So how much space do we have to allow entrepreneurs to generate data, to continue living off? And it's not just an issue of money to invest in what they're doing. It's also an issue of them to sustain themselves. I'm always saying this, like, I'm not like a poor entrepreneur, because that's how they sell Haiti with the philanthropy world. Like, invest in poor entrepreneurs who they can't eat today, but tomorrow they'll start a business that will change their lives. That's kind of the narrative of like access to entertainment and fun. But I mean, honestly, to be an entrepreneur, to be able to crack an issue, you have to also be able to sustain yourself long enough to just do the work that you're doing without receiving revenue. In the US and other parts of the world, there are a lot of safety nets for people to be able to do that. But in Haiti, they have to be entrepreneurs, but they also have to eat every day. They have to find a place to sleep. And the country is not solving for these issues. So for me, it's creating a pipeline that is actually weak. And also we have to increase the access of education for entrepreneurs to try more, more daunting things, or more to go further in how they're thinking. We do a lot of those ideation workshops at Bard. So for me, there's an issue of like, what's the infrastructure for finance? And also, how are we building quality pipeline over time? And for us, the issue is solved with a stronger ecosystem. So basically, we bring the private sector in. I mean, do you even trust that these guys that we call entrepreneurs right now are going to create the next leading companies in Haiti? Sometimes they don't, to be very honest with you. Now, how do you create success stories? And that's what I call the market failures, right?
Yeah.
How do you create FOMO? You see, I was at MIT, right? And then I see entrepreneurs in my classes that are not even better than some of that I see in my incubator back home. But when investors come, they're like, oh, they're putting, like, I had investors in my class, like, writing $200,000 checks for students who just wrote a PowerPoint because they don't want to be left out. They're like MIT students. Like the
branding.
MIT are the highest. It's more than branding, also data. MIT has shown the highest number of successful startups in the world from a university. So if you're an investor, you're like, let me just put $200,000 here and there, and maybe the founder of the next big thing that's going to come from this school is going to come from this school. It's going to be in my portfolio. But if you go to Haiti and you tell a private sector guy, yeah, come to that university, and probably the next biggest entrepreneur is going to come there, he's going to ask, oh, where's the last biggest entrepreneur? Like, who am I having a FOMO over? So I think for me, these are market failures that can be solved. Like, what if we can put all our energy, build something, make it successful, then the FOMO comes? And how do we do that the mentality of investors also change? Because these are guys who made money over commerce. They made money.
Different, whole different landscape. Yeah.
It's not fair. And that's education. So for me, the idea of Bonge, the innovation agency, the foundation, and everything we're doing is, how do we shock the ecosystem in a way where we fix both the pipeline issue, but also the investment infrastructure issue. So these are all things that we need to solve to really be able to crack the investment gap that you were just talking about. We're still working on it.
Yeah.
Still working on it.
Yeah. Very, very well put. And that's the truth of the matter when I think about, and it's across the developing economies that we're all experiencing. Yeah. So this makes me think about Glocal speak. So you said market failures, things like, so we want to hear what you hear. So it's a word or a phrase or a saying that is a meaningful part of your local experience, and why or how you come to value it as a Glocal speak. So this could be anywhere you feel local. It could be in your work. It could be in your play. It could be but what is your Glocal speak?
Wow. In Haitian Creole, there's a saying that says, "Derrière mon gen mon," which means behind the mountains, there are more mountains. Haiti is a mountainous country. Haiti is a translation of the word from, back when we had the Amerindians back home. So it actually comes from, Haiti means terre montagneux, country of. And we have a saying that we say, damn man, get money. It actually goes both ways. It's a thing that gives you wisdom, right? It's if you think you solve it all, there's more coming after.
Yeah.
But it goes both ways. If you do something wrong, there is somebody bigger than you that may come and crush you. So stay wise. But also, as you're solving, stay wise from what you're creating because behind the problem you just solved, there's probably a bigger problem behind it. So really, the M1 is a true inspiration for me because it goes both ways. It keeps you wise, but also keeps you wise in what you're building, but it also keep you wise in your arrogance because somebody bigger can also always come and shut you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I really wanted to share that.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. That's a great one. Okay. So thinking about mountains and mountains, let's talk about where are you seeing, because I can never talk to someone who is in tech without talking about the biggest mountain in the room or, elephant, whatever in the room. And that is AI. So
I saw it coming miles away. Yeah.
exactly. So we talk about policy, we talk about ecosystem, we talk about all of these things, and we talk about the data. So where are you seeing AI being the best case scenario for Haiti and the Caribbean? And where are you seeing the necessity for us to intervene in making that the reality?
Wow. Deep one. Honestly, this is an answer we're actually also working on. We are launching with Pro AI, which is a program that we just finished designing, and we are putting the elements of implementation in place to actually spearhead reflections around AI for Haiti. It's going to be, it's called Pro AI. We're going to build a network of every organization, student groups that are working in AI. We're going to be training private sector, government, and entrepreneurs and developers in AI. And the third component of our program is about building a roadmap for Haiti for AI. So you come in with an early question, and that's not something. I mean, I'm going to tell you my answer, but I'm just telling you as an organization, we are looking for a more inclusive answer to that question. And I really hope that everyone who's listening to this podcast will kind of like follow Barge or follow me because there are more coming around that. We are bringing the system together and ask, what is a roadmap for him? But I'll tell you what we are already kind of seeing in terms of how we're setting the stage for this. First of all, I'm a big pro AI, regardless the environmental concern, because I always
That's
countries.
the heavy piece. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I mean, countries like us have never been the problems of energy of this world. So it's almost like you want to talk about the issue of like overusage of energy and just like the climate change conversation. Don't bring this to Haiti. Like Haiti did climate change. Just like Haiti is not going to be the reason why data centers are going to destroy access to energy. But in the same vein of the conversation, a lot of people are saying also AI is solving for that as well. So it's like a funny thing. The issue of energy is we expect that at some point the world will control it, just like any new thing that comes tested and happen. I'm more on how do we create opportunity for Haiti side. And for us, it's really about AI represents a massive opportunity to empower people. The thing with AI is that the way it's being served right now, it's being served to chatbots. It's conversational. I've never seen so much technology integration with opportunity with AI speaking Creole than ever. Haiti has a majority of the population speaks a language. It's not fully integrated in the natural world of things, like, right? And it's kind of functioning in French. We do speak it, but we speak French. All the documentation, it's almost like if you can't speak English or French, it's almost like, yeah, you're there, but you're losing access to a lot of things. AI being able to jump from Creole to English or to French is a game changer. It's allowing a random Haitian person who doesn't know how to speak French or use French or comment French to just go into Creole into the app and get answers. So I've seen this. This is amazing in terms of stuff. And I know a group of students who are also building AI that's solved for translation within the healthcare space. I'm gonna, but they're beautiful. I love what they're doing. So the possibility of going to a hospital in the US and speaking your native language and have a machine that's translating exactly what you're saying to the doctor. So huge progress in terms of allowing humans to be better equipped in a more tailored way. So that for me is a game changer for everyone around Haiti. Of course, we still need to solve the access to internet and access to energy in a lot of places. And these that need heavy government infrastructure. But AI is going to allow Haitians to do more. Where there are also limits is that AI is coming and it's kind of like killing basic jobs. And that's going to require a much bigger jump in the quality of education in a country like Haiti to like not have like most of the population that is low skill labor still to not be wiped out. So that, we're going to have to look at how we're pacing things, but also think about it. AI is also allowing for a massive jump in education. So basically, in Haiti, we have an education system that's at multiple levels. It's like if you're rich, you go to that type of school. If you're middle class, you go to that type of school. If you're poor, you go to those type. And these schools are not at the same level. But the thing is, the AI at its most basic level has an education access that's actually even playing.
It can be. Mm-hmm.
How do you create? Can be. I'm not sure what your position is on AI, but AI can be at the level of like some professors are teaching some things in some classrooms in Haiti that AI can be 10 times better than that. It may kill jobs during quality of education. So the whole discussion about how do we make sure that students are learning the right things, this can be solved with AI. And also all the capacity in AI in healthcare. I think these are things that are great opportunities for Haiti to add value and also making sure that Haiti is playing at a level playing field with the rest of the world. The beauty of disruptions like AI is that it brings everybody to square one. So now we all back to square one and trying to run again. But this is not going to happen by itself, as in you just throw Haiti into AI and then all of these beautiful things are going to happen. It's going to require good leadership. It's going to require a government that's preparing for its people, but also actors, because I always see things in terms of ecosystem, actors that are aligned around the positive things that we can get out of this thing. And that's our approach. Is we're not going to write a paper around how Haiti can take advantage of AI. We're going to bring everyone to the table. We're going to talk to the private sector. We're going to bring the government, whatever form that exists right now, and the different actors, influencers, and kind of like reflect together before we put a paper out, because it's going to require all of us to get into this, because Haiti has been missing a lot of revolutions. And if we put our heads together, we're going to also miss that one. And the more we miss, the worse it gets for the next one. So it's going to require the right leadership to bring this to the table in the right way.
Yeah. And it sounds like Bonge is in a position to do that. I think you're at the right place.
I mean, when you think about legacy, things like that, I don't not to think about legacy, but if we started small and got here, and if it's 20, 30 more years for us, and even maybe after I'm gone, if we can be that space that's enabling these opportunities.
Exactly.
That would be the mission of life. I would love to be able to lend it. And I've had a lot of opportunity to work as well. I worked at MIT for a time in an entrepreneurship center. I left and went back home to be able to do this. And I'm actually now back home in a hybrid format. I'm still struggling to make sure I get to where I'm going, but I'm truly committed for the mission.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. And so just to add my 2 cents, I think that you're spot on with the language being the game changer. And so when we talk about what AI is all about, it's language models. And so to the extent that every country needs to focus on that piece is how do we make sure that the language that we're training our models on is our languages, and it has this interrelationship with other global languages. And so that's where I think a lot of the data training is so important to make it that basic local self. And then the applications on basic services, as you mentioned, health, hugely, emergency services, all kinds of services. So you're spot on. I like it. And forward. I love it.
Another question. I think we also have to agree that this is going to be happening at a speed.
Yes.
That we may not be ready for. And it really requires the right leadership to be able to make the right decisions for the people. Because if we do not protect the people and build for them, we're going to just drop them in a race where there's clearly the risk of being eaten by bigger fishes. Right? And I love when I think about leaders, I don't want to put names out there because I don't know who's going to be listening to this and when in the future. But when you think about leaders, who are protecting their people. I've seen some amazing ones in the Caribbean, particularly in Barbados. You'll put names. So leaders who are protecting their people is really what we need. It's not leaders who are just protecting their pockets, making it even worse for future generations in a race where we are not coming with as much preparation as others. So leaders have to care 10 times more. But unfortunately, this is not always the type of leaders that we have. But, there's a lot at risk with this transition, but there can be a lot of opportunities as well for our countries.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so how do you hack your mindset? So this is we're moving. Everything you're saying is moving me right through the conversation. So what is your mindset hack?
God, I always question myself. People don't believe me when I say that I don't think I'm a confident person in terms of I don't have set beliefs in anything. I'm always open to learn. I'm always open to understand new realities, but I'm also very science focused. You have to prove me wrong for me to admit when these things come together. I do believe that there's a lot to learn from the world, but I do know that we live in a world where nothing can be taken at face value anymore because communication has been so weaponized. Access to information has been so weaponized against communities and groups. So public diplomacy from certain countries have become so good at setting mindsets and influencing. I know that I come from a country where there's a lot of needs. There's a lot of ways that people can be corrupt. So for me, it's always take as much as you can, but process a lot before decisions and know that not everything can be seen at face value, but truly and honestly, your only guide is always going to be your heart at the end of the day. Take the information in, process it with your brain, but process with your heart as well, because at the end of the day, everything can be criticized. Social media can be crazy in many different ways, but at the end of the day, do what's comfortable for your heart and keep pushing it. And the last thing is, it's okay to make mistakes. Some people are so not allowing mistake in their space. I'm always happy to say sorry. And sometimes I tell people, I love being proven wrong, especially when I'm negative on something. Yeah, please prove. I'm always happy to be wrong as long as we're moving in the right direction.
Right.
And we're moving with.
Yeah.
That's my mind.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. I like it. Good words. Good words. Good words. So you kind of hinted at this, and it may be wrapped in your service as well. Let's talk about who you see yourself as and where you see your story, your companies, your businesses in the next 3 to 5 years. You host a podcast. You are also doing, you work volunteer with help in other organizations. Where do you see that sense of yourself merging, being part of in the next 3 to 5 years?
That's a hard one. That's a difficult one. I don't like, this is a question I really don't like. And I'll tell you why I don't like it. It's just, I keep repeating this every time I'm on a podcast. I don't know why. I need to meet Oprah one day. I've never met her. She was on a show and she said, when people ask me if I was going to become big, like the person that I am today, I was thinking I just make the best decision I can every time I can. Yeah. I don't think about where I'm going.
Yeah.
And honestly, I do understand the power of what I created. I do understand the power of who I represent today because now that I'm getting older, I'm turning 40 next year. I do understand the weight that I carry when I walk in certain rooms, particularly in Haiti. For me, it's never about who I'm going to become in 3 years. It's just so hard. It's just for me, I'm building something for sure. I'm building I wasn't always about building ecosystem, right? I told you the story from starting. Always this passionate guy. I know at the core, I want to solve for making Haitian human beings better. That's the core. And everything I do is about, okay, how do you get people out of poverty? How do you create wealth? Because wealth brings comfort. It brings capacity to be fulfilled. So any way that I could do that. And when I was younger, I started Haiti's first global international youth summit at home where I brought the diaspora and everyone. That was in 2014. For me, that was my way of contributing. It's like, let's just bring everybody who have the same good ideas together. And then the next thing you know, it's like it's a company that's like incubating startups. And today it's like in a that's like trying to build ecosystem. Like I really don't know, but I working. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's a great answer. I love it. It's wonderful. And it also helps me talk about who is Marc Alain when he's not working and thinking and building. What do you do in your spare time in life? Are you a reader? Are you a watcher? Are you a listener? And what are some of your favorite reads, watches, or listens? Or what else do you do when you're not on the clock and just being?
Oh, to tell you honestly, right now I'm just so into my building phase right now that I
Okay.
hours in my work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I'm a dad.
Yes.
My
You're a
favorite,
girl dad, right? You have two girls.
I have twins.
Twins,
My
yes.
favorite sport right now is really when I'm not behind this computer is just like playing with my girls. That's like my favorite thing to do. But of course, they sleep early, so
Thankfully.
I do a lot of YouTube. I do a lot of YouTube. I do have a bunch of books that I want to go through that I haven't been able to do. My wife jokes at me all the time. She's like, "Stop buying books! You're not reading them. Leave them there. I'm gonna need them. I'm gonna need them to set up my mindset in the future." I haven't been doing a lot of reading, unfortunately. So I do watch a lot of podcasts. My podcast is co-hosted by a good friend of mine. We call it the Executive Talk, where we bring people who are seen at senior position in the country, governor, central bank, ministers, prominent businessman. We bring them on the podcast and we have like super casual conversation about them. The idea of disrupting minds and like make people see that they're not all that. They're just humans who had also journeys. So that's what our podcast is about. We haven't been able to record it. We're not as good at you, like with those big numbers. But honestly, I'm in my building era right now. So I'm working all the time and I'm always in meetings and I'm trying to get the company to a place where the innovation agency side of it at Bunch 4.0 can really take shape. And it requires a lot of conversation and a lot of meetings. That's really what I'm doing most of. I do enjoy my work. So I enjoy traveling. So when I travel either to speak at a conference or to Haiti, I always take time to kind of like hang out with my team or be on the beach, discovering, see the new culture. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I don't think I'm at a work-life balance right now. And the other day that probably that's something that doesn't exist if you're an entrepreneur. But hey, I'm trying to bring fun to it as much as I can and putting my time.
I mean, I love that you said that about that you're really focused on building and it's about having conversations, because I think that a lot of times we take for granted that this building is about talking to a lot of people and really surveying. And so I think part of your training and grassroots and going around to communities really is part of what that story is. So I appreciate that is what you're doing when you're not on the clock. You're continuing to have these dialogues that continue to help you to ideate and to create. So thank you for that. Yeah.
I think sometimes we're in such rush, we don't even
Yes.
budget for these things because we always doing.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what I do at my company as well. Like all the operations, everything we started on now, we hire people. We have about 10 staff right now who are running our programs and doing all those things. I just need time to talk to people and have this conversation, learn and get insights. Also make people feel welcome because
culture building. Yes, exactly.
Relationship building. It's a lot of work. People don't understand. Yeah. It's a lot of work, but we enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah. I love it. I love it. Marc, thank you so much for your time. This has been so awesome. I really have enjoyed this conversation. You are a thought leader. If you haven't, someone's going to get you to be, I'm with you. I don't feel like I want to be in a public quote unquote office and that type of leadership, but I love the idea of training people and mentoring people who are going to be those leaders and the ones who really have the willingness and ability to be in front of people, because that's a lot of energy. So the leadership conversation is a real thing. And so tell us what's new and next for you in terms of, you said you go to conferences, what's on the agenda, we can tell our listeners to look out for you or folks out there to know where they're going to see you, where you're going to be new and next in the next few months.
So next week, I'm going to Barbados. I'm going to participate in a summit of ecosystem builders throughout the Caribbean, which is cool. It's a great program called Connecta that the IDB is actually funding with the European Union in the Caribbean. We're bringing all of us, all of the, I'm excited actually about that to meet other ecosystem builders from the entire. So we have a retreat. I'm organizing the Haitians at Harvard conference. So when I was at Harvard, I started this community of Haitians who are on campus. Now this thing has blown into like this massive conference. We're expecting 400 people. So it's
Oh,
in Boston,
nice. Okay.
March 27th. Like we're welcoming everybody to Harvard. We also want people to experience Harvard and remove myths. I mean, as you probably realize, I love breaking myths and people thinking like places are unaccessible. If I go somewhere, people can come behind me. So like some people like it, some people don't. So it's always a mixed feeling. So we have that coming up, but a more of a broader perspective. In the coming weeks or months, you're going to hear more about the foundation and the type of work we're going to be doing in Haiti, trying to create a new pathway towards creating wealth and enabling entrepreneurs. And a lot of the work that we do also is all about empowering young leaders, right? The work we've done allowed us to connect so many people that are just so awesome, Florias. And I think these are the people who are going to be leading in multiple capacities. And I'm really, truly excited about the future. A future that I will feel that I contributed into by all these communities that we've empowered, all these communities that we've given just another mindset about things and them lead. And I just look forward to stay connected with all these people and see them building great things. I'm super excited about that.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you too. So I feel like those were good last words, but do you have any last thoughts you'd like to share with our listeners today?
Gosh, I think everyone can be an ecosystem builder. Yeah. I think my last will be being an ecosystem builder is not necessarily just a science of building massive communities. Don't let all that blah, blah, blah fill you with stuff. I think being an ecosystem builder is just open your eyes and see what's around you and see how you can align what I call incentive infrastructure. You're in a house, look at how mom is moving, how dad is moving, sister's moving, find the incentive, build something great for the family. You're in a community, look at your neighbors, look at who are the big players in the community, create things that align people. Building ecosystem is just an art. It's beautiful. It's really the capacity of bringing people together and finding a bigger goal, something that's higher than everybody. And then we can just bring everybody there. I hope everyone who's going to be listening will feel the need to contribute more to society and feel the needs to contribute more to their community and their home and their groups and their friends. And hopefully with that, we can have a better world.
Wow. Those are great last thoughts. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you so, so much. Thank you. All right, Glocal citizens, this has been another episode of the podcast. You can catch us Tuesdays with new episodes at glocalcitizenspod.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Please do like, share, subscribe. Check out the show notes. They're going to be rich. You can find out where you are going to be able to see Marc Alain and understand more about all of the wonderful projects he's worked on. I might leave a little bit of notes, some breadcrumbs about my Kenya journey. But in any case, engage with us. We want to hear from you. And until next time, bye for now.